You had some cool scenes from the hospital in Halloween 4. Loomis was in there. Little Jamie was in there. I felt like there was something lacking in it. I can't really put my finger on it. But it was a good house. Not the best, though. The best house was Poltergeist. Fucking love the Poltergeist house. They had everything from Poltergeist and more. They added a lot of cool stuff to make it just amazing. Now, last year, if you remember, I talked about Trick or Treat's house, or Trick or Treat's Scare Zone. Trick or Treat's Scare Zone last year was the best thing about Horror Nights. This year, Trick or Treat's house was probably the most disappointing of Horror Nights. And the reason why it was so disappointing is that it just couldn't live up to the Scare Zone from last year. The house was fine. It wasn't that scary. I don't know. I can't. It just didn't work for a house as well as it did for a Scare Zone last year. So Trick or Treat, disappointing, I hate to say. Also disappointing was the Horrors of Bloom house, which was a Happy Death Day and First Purge house. Now look, I like Happy Death Day and I like First Purge, but the house just did not work. Purge was fantastic as like a Scare Zone last year. Happy Death Day, too repetitive, doesn't work as a or as a haunted house. Just not scary. Carnival Graveyard was their own house. I'll describe this. The caramel-coated carnivals of yesteryear have died, but something sinister has festered, waiting to torment those who trespass upon their salvage yard. This one was cool. I liked it a lot. Scared the shit out of my wife, so it was effective. Again, you're not really going to get too many scares out of me. There were a couple times that people caught me off guard, but not so much in the houses. Usually in a scare zone when I was looking at my phone or something. My own fucking fault. But yeah, it was a good one. Carnival Graveyard, good stuff. Maybe the best of the scare zones. Or not scare zones, original houses. Dead Exposure, Patient Zero. This was one of the last houses I went to, and I really did not give two shits about seeing this one. But it wasn't bad. This one is fear will infect you, plunging you into darkness against a plague of swarming, fast-moving zombies. So it's a little bit like 28 Days Later. I dug it. It wasn't fantastic, but it was better than I expected. But this one was really good. Scary Tales, Deadly Ever After. This is another, again, original house. The Wicked Witch of the West has cursed the land of the fairies, twisting beloved stories beyond recognition. There are no fairy tale endings here. Good stuff, a lot of original things in there, just fun. Scary Tales was good. Good fucking house. Seeds of Extinction, humanity is extinct, wiped out by a cataclysmic meteor. In its wake, something monstrous has taken root. It was okay. Nothing that great. Slaughter Cinema. It's showtime at the local drive-in where you don't just catch a movie, the movie catches you. When the credits roll, heads roll. Now, I don't know how to feel about this one. It was cool to see what was in there. But as far as a house, it wasn't scary, and that's not just coming from me. I don't feel like it was just scary at all. So, fun, but not scary. More like you're just looking to see all the shit that's in there. So that's all the houses this year at Halloween Horror Nights Orlando. There was 11. We got through them all. Let me make sure that's true. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Sorry, 10 houses. We got through them all. The scare zones. Now, this is the interesting thing. Vic told me about Revenge of Chucky. Obviously, we're talking about the Chucky, the killer doll. And he told me that this was the best scare zone. And I didn't believe him. I really didn't. I didn't think it was going to be the best scare zone. But my apologies to Vic, it was. It wasn't scary at all. So that is what it is. Chucky, the world's deadliest doll, has brought a toy fair to gruesome life on the streets of Hollywood, twisting childhood toys into nightmares. You'll be dying to play. And essentially, all the toys that are walking around were stupid. But you did have a couple little scenes like this guy getting an operation performed on him for real, and like spraying everybody with like what's supposed to be blood, but it's actually water. You had like this monkey that was like pissing on people. It was funny as shit. And then you had Chucky, who was like basically just running down guests, and it was funny as hell. He's just on a stage just talking shit about people, and I loved it. It was amazing. So, kudos to Revenge of Chucky. Fun stuff. And he would even do the try to do the possession of someone, and like lightning would start flashing, and all the other toys would get invested too. It was just good. Killer Clowns from Outer Space. The look of this one was amazing, but the actual scare zone was disappointing. It wasn't scary. There wasn't much going on. It was just a few clowns walking around. And these clowns were awesome, don't get me wrong. Just not shit going on there. An interstellar circus tent has landed on the streets of Universal Studios, Florida. At this Circus of Fear, the joke's always on you. Again, they were fun. It's just that's all it was. It was just, they look cool. Then there's the Harvest. An old barn holds horrors from each house. Foul creatures lurk between the hay bales, ready for a harvest of blood and screams. And this actually ran together with Twisted Tradition. An ancient evil has been reawakened and transformed Halloween into an abomination. Again, Twisted Tradition and the Harvest ran together. They were both fine. They look cool. I'll give them that. Vamp 85, New Year's Eve. I like this scare zone. It wasn't scary, but it was cool. As the ball drops in New York City, this New Year's bash is about to bite. Literally. So you had a bunch of vampires walking around scaring the shit out of people. So it was good stuff. And then here's the attractions we actually took part in. Revenge of the Mummy, which was fun because I love that fucking roller coaster. We went to Escape from Gringotts, the Harry Potter ride. That was fun too. Not bad. Of course, we had to get butterbeer too. That was nice. So we only rode 2 of the rides, but we also went and checked out Academy of Villains Cyberpunk. With a wicked mix of dance, acrobatics, and theatrics, Academy of Villains is back for an all-new performance of pounding synths and neon lights. And apparently this replaced like Bill and Ted, and everybody's pissed off about it. But it was good shit. I really liked it. So if you get down to Horror Nights, definitely check out, make some time, check out Academy of Villains. I feel like Horror Nights is a 2-night affair this year, especially for it being as packed as it is. There were like 2 sellouts over the weekend. Thank God I did not go then. And also I went to Mickey's Not So Scary. I won't give you a big rundown of it, but I enjoyed it. If you've got a family, definitely take them. Especially for the fact that you can actually do Disney stuff while you're there and get through, like we did the Thunder Mountain, Space Mountain, and Splash Mountain within an hour of us getting to the park. So going in October, absolute best time to go to Disney as far as I'm concerned. Enjoyed it. It was fun. And I highly recommend it. So there's my takes on Salem, Boston, Horror Nights, and Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween. So, I mean, what did I like best? That's a good question. Probably Salem, to be honest with you. Horror Nights was good, but I will tell you it's a little disappointing in some spots, but I enjoyed it overall, as always, and I'll probably go back next year, let's be honest. Mickey's Not So Scary I'll do again next year, but Salem was just unique. For those of you that are interested in Salem, go on a Friday, maybe leave on a Sunday or a Monday, because you'll get all you need in those couple days. I would leave on a Sunday, get there on a Friday or Saturday. It's 2 or 3 days is plenty. But yeah, it's a good time. Check out everything there. Enjoy it. Get to Danvers if you can. I did not get to do that. I wanted to. I wanted to see the actual site of where a lot of these things took place. And this is American history. It's the most well-known witch trial ever, even though there was a lot more shit going on in Europe before this. It was crazy to see some of this stuff. But at the same time, it was cool just to see people walking around. Got my picture with Michael Myers, not the real one, not the Nick Castle one. Just some dude walking, or just some dude standing there being awesome as Michael Myers. He was great at cosplay. You had Frankenstein's monster hanging out, sitting on an electric chair. All the women were dressed as fucking witches. Witches aren't real, for the record. I know a lot of people get upset with us when we say that, including on our own page. I don't give a shit. Witches aren't real. You herbalists, you Wiccans, you do your own thing. Doesn't mean you're a witch. Just because you call yourself a witch doesn't mean you're a witch. I'm going to call myself a vampire or a serial killer without actually doing it. Because I can't. Because it can't fucking happen. Well, I could be a serial killer. I'm not. But I can't be a fucking vampire. Not really. Just like they can't really be a witch. Not from what a witch is supposed to be. Just like none of these people are a witch in the Salem Witch Trials. But they still got their asses hanged. Pretty crazy. Anyway. I don't know if we're going to be back next week or not. TalkShoe fucked me over this week, and this was actually my second attempt at recording this thing. I have no idea how we're going to continue to do this going forward. I'm going to do it on Spreaker. You're going to get some reviews from me. I'm going to go see Halloween on Thursday. You'll get a non-spoiler review from me, as always. I may go live on Halloween night and do a little talking. But yeah, we'll be around. I don't know what the format the show's going to take going forward because I'm pretty pissed off about the way TalkShoe's been lately. May have to figure out something going forward with that, but it is what it is. I mean, what can you do? But yeah, again, I'll probably go live Thursday night right after I see Halloween. I'm seeing it at 10 p.m. By the way, what I've been watching lately, this is something I want to talk about before I go off the air here. First, today I went and saw Gosnell, the trial of America's biggest serial killer at AMC Theaters. It was surreal to see this movie. It was just an independent movie. Nobody's talked about it. The only reason I knew about it is because I saw it on my AMC Showtimes, and I saw a serial killer, and I'm like, well, fuck yeah, I'm going to go see this. And to make a long story short, it's about Kermit Gosnell and him being tried, and the whole story of him allegedly, well, it's not alleged anymore, him killing three babies who were born during an attempted abortion. And then he snips their necks with fucking scissors. Yes, it is disgusting, and I have some strong feelings about that movie. All positive on the movie's part, just the, oh god, the stuff portrayed. I was just horrified watching this thing. It was a tough watch. But with it being a tough watch, I gotta give it 4 out of 4 machetes. I know that sounds crazy for a movie like this, but it was quality. It gets over an 8.0 on IMDb, so I think that kind of says something about it. If your local theater does not have this, write to your local theater. Tweet them. Make it public. No one is giving this movie credit. New York Times, New York Press, none of these fuckers are giving any kind of pub. So I want to give it props for, one, retweeting my tweet earlier. And, so I appreciate that. And, making a quality movie. Dean Cain was in this fucking movie. It was pretty awesome. So you got Clark from Lois and Clark. It was pretty sweet. Also, he was on Ripley's Believe It or Not Once Upon a Time. So we'll leave the movies I've seen at the theater alone now. But I also watched Into the Dark, The Body on Hulu yesterday. And you had Pablo from Ash vs. Evil Dead in it. Other than that, it's hard to describe what I watched. It was kind of a mix of American Psycho and maybe like some sort of a slasher. I'm not really sure which slasher to compare it to. A little more drawn out than I needed it to be. It probably could have finished up about 10 minutes earlier. Too many twists and turns that didn't need to be there. So I give it 3 out of 4 machetes. It was fun. I also watched Trick or Treat. I don't even need to talk about that. It was on AMC on Sling. Sling TV is what my cable provider is. Internet provider. I gave it a 4, obviously. Bram Stoker's Dracula I watched today on BBC America on Sling. 3.75 out of 4. It's about as close to a perfect Dracula story as it gets. They added some weird shit that was unnecessary, I felt like. It's the only thing holding it back. And then I'm in the process of watching Psycho on BBC America on Sling. So, full swing Halloween. I may have missed a few days on my 31 days of horror, just due to being out of town, things of that nature. But I've done my best. I've watched enough to fill 31 days. That's for damn sure. Tomorrow I'm going to try to check out Goosebumps 2, even though I haven't even seen the first one. We'll see. I might get to it. I might not. We'll see. I'm going to get to Bad Times at the El Royale as well at some point. So that's where I am. I'll try to check out some more horror movies in time. But I encourage anybody who's listening to this, do some research on the Salem Witch Trials. There's more to what I've said, obviously. I just didn't want to pound home facts and make you listen to my voice any longer than you had to get through this show. So I apologize. Vic passed out. Not surprisingly, he's a big dumb animal. I love Vic, but he is. And Blake was sick, so it was all me tonight, which is fine because TalkShoe decided to fuck up anyway. So here I am on Spreaker, just recording live.